Out of chemical research come the thousands of products that contribute to better living. The DuPont Company, maker of better things for better living through chemistry, presents the DuPont Cavalcade Theater, dramatic stories of people who were a part of the Cavalcade of America.
This is a true story. It happened in Chicago. Thank you. Just one more. Mr. Black, you step over by the bicycle. Right over there. There. That's fine. Now, Andy, look at Mr. Black. He just gave you a terrific bicycle. Look over at him. Look at Mr. Black.
That's enough of this.
Just one more.
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Black.
that's all. We're grateful to Mr. Black. We're grateful to you and all the newspapers. We're grateful to everybody for all the letters and gifts and...
Please try to understand. The doctor said Andy must have rest, and this has been a very disturbing day.
Of course you're right, Mrs. Hall. I should have realized it sooner myself. I had no idea there'd be a photographer here.
The bicycle's a splendid gift. We do thank you for Andy.
Oh, happy to do it. I guess everybody has taken this boy to their hearts. Good night, Mrs. Hall.
Good night.
Take good care of that boy, Mr. Hall.
Don't worry, Mr. Black. That's just what I'm going to do. That's enough. That boy lost his mother and father a little over a week ago.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
The doctor insists he must have rest. No excitement. How is he?
No change.
There won't be any change until we stop all this hullabaloo.
We have to expect it, Terry. The accident was on the front page of every newspaper, and well, all the people want to help.
Well, that's where you and I come in, Ella. We're not Andy's aunt and uncle anymore. We're parents now. From now on, Andy's our son. And it's up to us to protect him from...
Is this the house of Mr. and Mrs. Hall, where Andy is?
Yes, I'm Ella Hall, Andy's aunt. And this is Mr. Hall.
I'm Joe Swedie. Uncle Joe, the kids call me. I'd like to show Andy a movie. It's about Alaska. It's got Eskimos and polar bears and dogs. Oh, the kids love it.
That's very kind of you, I'm sure, but I don't think we...
Would you show me where his room is, please?
Just a minute. I don't think you understand.
Oh, I understand. I'm pretty familiar with cases like Andy. When a kid loses his whole family all at once, the shock is tremendous. And with shock, there's often a conscious coma. Might last for, days, sometimes weeks.
This has lasted 9 days.
I can bring him out of it. I've done it before.
His room is this way.
No, wait. Who are you? Some sort of doctor or something?
No. I guess, I'm sort of a child therapist. I just understand kids, and they understand me.
We didn't send for any...
I'll show you his room.
Hi, Andy. I'm Joe. Uncle Joe, the kids call me. Say, you got a nice room here. I brought a movie to show you, all about Alaska. It's got dogs and bears and whales and Eskimos. You know, I never could figure out how those Eskimos can live in those snow houses and not get cold at all. But they don't. There's not a shivering one in the whole movie. I usually show a full-length feature in color, a new one to the kids in the hospital. But this is only a short one. I didn't think Andy was quite up to seeing a long one. Andy, let me warn you. If you start watching these wheels go around, you'll miss the picture. You know what happens to the kids all the time? See this? This little switch here that throws it on and off. After I get it plugged in, you can throw that for me if you want to. Okay, Andy. You can throw that switch now. It's all right. Thanks just same. I got it. Oh. Well, we're ready. Now, if Aunt Ella just turned the light out, we'll go ahead.
I think we've seen enough.
I haven't. I want to see those walruses and polar bears and Eskimos that never get cold. Go ahead, please.
Here we go. Now the igloo is finished. Look at them all crawling through that little door in the igloo. Look at the size of that whale. He sure throws that harpoon, huh? You know, when they're lucky enough to catch a whale that size, Eskimos come from miles around to have a great feast. See? They eat that whale blubber raw.
Almost half an hour.
Now here he is, the last Eskimo we'll see. The great hunter with his spear stalking his game. And there it is. How's that for a walrus? Look at those tusks, as big as an elephant's. We're almost at the end. Now we'll see great mountains of ice all breaking apart. There it is. That's it. That's the end. Yes, sir. I guess that's the greatest picture ever made on Alaska. And I've seen them all. Andy, I got a little present here for you. Wild animals. I guess I like those almost as much as the really sick kids do. The ones at the hospital. There's one about wild animals in Africa. Yeah, I think I'll bring that. Let's see, today's Tuesday. I'll bring it Thursday. That's the day after tomorrow. About 7:30. And you'll see the most wonderful picture in the world about wild animals. You know what this is? This is a three-dimensional slide viewer with slides of wild animals. Take a look at it when you want to. Well, so long, Andy. I'll see you Thursday night.
Please.
I want to say thanks and...
Oh, that's all right.
No, what I mean is, we appreciate how you feel about Andy, but... Well, the doctor says it's best to keep strangers away from him.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Don't let anyone or anything remind him of the accident. But don't you worry. There should be some improvement by Thursday. At least he should show some interest in the slide viewer, which means you'd be anxious to see the movie. I'll be here about 7:30.
Good night, and thank you so much. Andy showed interest, Terry. For the first time in more than a week, Andy showed interest.
Ella, we don't know this man. He's a stranger.
Terry, I don't understand you. Whoever he is, I'm sure Dr. Norman would approve of him.
All right, we'll see. All right, Doctor, I will. I'm sorry to bother you. Goodbye. Dr. Norman never heard of him. Said to keep all strangers away from Andy.
Did you tell him Joe mentioned working with children in a hospital?
Well, anyone can say that. He didn't name any hospital, did he?
Why did you take the slide viewer away from Andy?
Because I think we'll never see this Joe, whoever he is, again. We can't risk Andy's being disappointed when he doesn't show up. The quicker Andy forgets him, the better.
I'm sure he'll be back Thursday.
Out of my way, Joe.
What's the hurry, Hal?
I've got to get home fast tonight. This is Thursday.
Day with your girl?
Say, Joe, I just remembered. Ain't this the night you promised to take my girlfriend's ugly sister out on a blind date?
Thursday? No, I got other plans for tonight.
Same old excuse. You're always busy. Hey, Joe, what do you do at night, huh? An old bachelor like you. Bowling? Pool? Cards? I know it ain't women. Not on $80 a week.
I'll take you with me sometime. You could help.
Not me, buddy. From what I hear, you stay out late every night. I ain't about to get mixed up with you. You know, the only thing I can figure you for is a burglar. Is he asleep?
No,
What's troubling you, Alice? Something about Andy?
partly.
She told me he was better. He was even looking at a book.
He was. A book about animals.
Well, what's the difference? He was showing interest in an animal book?
Yes. This is Thursday night. It's almost 9 o'clock, and that little man with the movies, Joe, said he'd be here at 7:30.
I told you we'd never see that man again.
You did. I thought you were wrong, that's all.
That's all. So you gave Andy an animal book. You kept him hoping.
I suppose I did. Terry, did you stop Joe from coming here tonight?
I did not.
Did you try? Did you try to find him and stop him?
Yes, I tried, but I couldn't find him.
I see. Now, I think you'd better see something. In here.
How did he get that?
I gave it to him. I still think Joe's coming here tonight.
Hello, Andy. What are you looking at?
And the animals.
May I see him, too? A lion. Well, it's not nearly as big a lion as the one they call the King of Africa. I'll tell you about this King of Africa. It was a dry year. The natives couldn't get any water.
Hello, Mr. Hall. Hi, Andy. I'm sorry I'm late, but that old clunker of a car of mine broke down. Had to fix it myself. A lot of I used to it by now. I carry a whole truckload of spare parts.
Thank you, Terry.
I didn't hear the doorbell.
I was waiting for him on the porch.
We will return to Cavalcade Theater right after tonight's story of DuPont Chemistry.
What does a pretty young woman dream of? Well, often it's clothes, the latest in fashions, a wardrobe that's practical yet beautiful, inexpensive but luxurious. And what are these dreams made of? Hard work, imagination, a blending of many skills, unending scientific research. These are the things that turn dreams into reality, that made possible such advancements as DuPont's man-made fiber. And work goes on to improve the fibers, to find new ways of using them for your better living. Now, let me tell you about a new development that you may soon be hearing quite a lot about. You see, DuPont's man-made fibers are made in two different forms. One is a smooth, continuous filament that's wonderful for sheer hosiery and lingerie. Now, when this continuous filament is chopped into short lengths, it's called staple. Now, this is soft and fluffy and is used for making suits and sweaters. Now, DuPont customers make these fibers into yarns that are used in many beautiful and serviceable things. And to help them and to help consumers who always want a greater variety, DuPont is constantly looking for new ways to improve its fibers, seeking new uses for them. And here is one of the latest. Taslan textured yarns. Let's see what it looks like under the microscope. See those tiny loops? They make the difference. A fluffier, softer yarn that has no shine or sheen when it's made into fabrics. Here's the tiny device that DuPont engineers designed to make textured yarns. The smooth, continuous filament goes in this end, and out the other end comes Taslan textured yarn. Now, here's what designers of fabrics think about the new development.
Taslan gives us an opportunity to do new and wonderful things with all man-made fibers. Here's a piece of dress goods woven from nylon that's been given the texturing treatment. It has a soft, fluffy feel, yet it retains all the lightness, wrinkle resistance, and washability of nylon. It's really an exciting development in the textile industry.
DuPont developed the process for making Taslan out of continuing textile research. But DuPont is a chemical company, making only the basic fibers, not the yarns or fabrics. So it licensed textile manufacturers to use this process, and they adapted it to their own needs to make a wide variety of new fabrics. Soon, new textured fabrics for suits, coats, dresses, shirts, lingerie, and many other things will be contributing to your better living. They may be made from any one of DuPont's man-made fibers that have been given the texturing treatment. The development of Taslan is another example of DuPont's unending search for better things, for better living through chemistry.
I told you this was a great picture. You ever see so many wild animals in your life?
Are you coming back again?
Sure I am. I told you I'd be here Tuesday night. Every Tuesday and Thursday.
You said you would.
You can count on it. I've got a lot of customers, and I haven't disappointed any yet.
Customers?
Oh, just kids like you. Some of them are really sick. I better get going. I got to see one yet tonight. Well, take care of yourself. See you Tuesday night, Andy.
Okay.
Well, good night.
Oh, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Why, sure, Mr. Hall.
Well, just things we ought to know. Didn't you tell us you were a child therapist?
Yes, well, I guess I am. You can ask the Children's Hospital.
I will. What company or interest do you represent, Mr. Swedie?
I don't know what you mean.
Do you represent camera equipment, films?
Oh, no, I guess I just represent kids.
Well, who pays for your film?
I do. Sometimes 2 and 3 a week. I rent them.
At how much?
Oh, it varies. $20, $30, $50 each.
You rent the equipment, too?
No, I own that. About $1,000 worth.
How much do you charge for these house visits?
Charge? Why, I'd never charge to show movies to sick kids.
How much money do you make, Mr. Swedie? I mean, counting everything.
Terry, please.
Oh, I don't mind saying, Mrs. Hall. I had some bonds when I got out of the Army. They're gone now, and just what I have now I get from the factory, about $80 a week.
Isn't it pretty hard making ends meet, paying $40 to $100 a week just for films on an $80 a week income?
You've been much too patient with us, Mr. Swedie.
Oh, I don't mind.
Well, there won't be any more questions, unless you'd like to ask us some.
Oh, no, I just take people the way I find them. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
That was the worst exhibition of rudeness I've ever seen. You tried to humiliate a decent little man.
Look, we have to take care of Andy now. I'm protecting him the only way I know how.
Aren't you overdoing it?
He was lying.
Why can't you admit that he's helping Andy?
If my son needs a child therapist, I'll get him a real one.
You're jealous. Because Joe's helping your son.
The man's a fake. I don't want him in this house again.
I do. He's coming back Tuesday.
I tell you, I won't have him.
It's no use, Terry. I've made up my mind. He can come to this house just as long as he can help your son.
Joe Swedie. No, I'm sure there's no one by that name employed here. Certainly no professional worker.
You wanted to see me, Dr. Holmes.
Yes, Miss Baker. Mr. Hall, this is our head nurse, Miss Baker.
How do you do?
Do sit down.
Thank you.
If your man is one of our volunteer workers, she'll know him.
Well, I'm asking about a man named Swedie, Joe Swedie.
He calls himself a child therapist, says he works here.
There's nobody here by that name.
I see.
Perhaps if you could describe him to me.
Well, he's medium size, about 5'9" or 10. He's slender, about 140 or 50 pounds. He's in his 40s, with his hair beginning to...
You mean Uncle Joe, the man with the movies who comes to the wards on Wednesday nights. He's wonderful. He brings ice cream and presents, and the children just love him. He's marvelous with them. He's such a reticent man. The nurses are all convinced that he's an eccentric millionaire in disguise.
He's a factory worker. He makes $80 a week.
It's funny, there was another man in the wards last week inquiring about Uncle Joe.
What's that?
Well, some investigator or somebody.
Why wasn't the office notified?
Why, nobody thought there could possibly be anything wrong with Uncle Joe.
I disagree with you, Miss Baker. The man is being investigated. Someone besides Mr. Hall must have a doubt or two about him. I'll be in my office Wednesday night. I'd like to see this man.
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, hello, Mr. Hall. I didn't see you when I came in.
Mr. Swedie, I'll say what I have to say briefly. Andy's much better now. He won't need your visits after tonight. I've had a talk with Dr. Holmes. The Children's Hospital is beginning to ask its own questions about you.
I don't understand.
Someone else is investigating you, too. Mr. Swedie, if you have anything to square with yourself, you better get it straightened out fast.
Anybody can investigate me as deep and as far back as they want to.
I can't make it any plainer, Mr. Swedie. I don't want you here anymore.
Well, I better go tell Andy that I won't see him Thursday.
I'll tell Andy. I'll tell Andy myself, Thursday.
He should be told now.
I said I'll tell him Thursday. How are you doing, Andy?
Is Uncle Joe here yet?
No.
It's Thursday.
I've just thought of the most wonderful idea for you and me.
What's that?
How would you like to have the finest movie projector made?
Like Uncle Joe's?
It'll be yours, all yours. And we'll keep it here in your room. And you know what? We'll have a catalog with all the movies in it, like this. Just like that. Now, you pick out any movie you want to see, you tell me what it is, and I'll get it for you, and we'll see it together.
Will Uncle Joe be here?
We won't need anybody else. We won't want anybody else. Just the three of us. Our own family.
Isn't Uncle Joe ever coming back?
You know, I think I saw something out here when I came in. Wait.
He is never coming back, is he? Ever?
Take a look at this. And it's yours, Andy. Look at it. Here's the instruction book. You know, I'll have to have you help me connect it. Andy, listen.
He is never coming back, is he?
Andy. Listen, Andy, I need you to help me connect. Son.
It'll be all right, dear. Andy. Oh, Andy, you and I know brave men don't cry. Honey, Joe's very busy and you're not sick anymore. Andy. You'll have to get him. Oh, Terry, you can't be everything to him. Darling, don't you understand? The best father in the world couldn't be everything to his son. What he needs now is Joe Swedie.
He's here on Wednesday nights. He was in the wards last night after Dr. Holmes talked with him.
Can't you think of any other place where I might find him?
Well, he's welcome many places. Let's see, I've Heard him talk about a trailer camp down at the end of Fuller Street. He shows his movies there to a little boy named Mike.
Thank you. I'll try there.
Uncle Joe? Oh, he isn't here tonight. Only Fridays.
Uncle Joe?
Well, hush, Mike. It isn't Uncle Joe. He comes here tomorrow night, dear. You know that.
Do you have any idea where I can find him?
Well, no, I'm sorry, I don't.
But I've got to find him.
Well, you might try St. Mary's Orphanage. He once mentioned that he grew up there.
Thanks.
Sunday night, Herrick House. Monday night, Little Company of Mary Hospital. Oh, this is Mr. Swedie's schedule. See his name? Mr. Harwell must keep it here in case he wants to get in touch with him.
Tuesday, La Rabida Sanitarium and private homes. Wednesday, Michael Reese Hospital. Thursday, private homes. No, there's no help.
This is funny. See what this says? Club dinner, Empire Hotel. Then under it, just Joe Swedie.
Empire Hotel. Thanks very much.
No one could quite believe that Joe didn't have some axe to grind, some angle. So we had him investigated. And our investigation showed that Joe does have an angle. Kids. All his time off, 7 nights a week, holidays and weekends too, he shows movies to sick and underprivileged children and pays every cent of the cost himself. Joe never asks any help from anyone. He likes what he's doing. Fortunately, from now on, he won't have to bear all the expense himself, thanks to you Variety members. In addition, Joe, I'd like to read the inscription on this plaque to you. In recognition of his outstanding and meritorious service devoted to hospitalized and underprivileged children in and around the city of Chicago, by regularly providing them with motion picture entertainment at great personal expense and sacrifice. 1954, Variety Club of Chicago, Joe Swedie, Man of the Year.
Thanks, but I have to go. This will explain everything. I'm sorry to disturb you at a time like this, Joe, but Andy's in bad shape.
Yes, I know. I was going to drop by anyway, but we'll go over now.
Joe, can you spare us just a half a minute more? Folks, it looks like we're losing our guest of honor. However, he did leave us this note. I think that's all we're going to get from him tonight in the way of a speech. However, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I'd like to read it to you. Tell them thanks. There's a kid I promised to see. He's pretty sick. Joe.
This is a true story. It happened in Chicago.
We invite you to be with us again next week when the DuPont Company of Wilmington, Delaware will again present the DuPont Cavalcade Theater.